What's up, gamers? Welcome to another episode of Get Your Game Sense Up. My name is Bios, your annoyed average gamer.
And I am Super Kami, and boy do I miss E3.
Well, who needs E3? Because we just got the reveal of the PS5. Finally, after all this time, it actually happened.
Yeah, finally. I was getting kind of worried there at the end. I was getting just a tad worried, but once I saw the Orbeez pop up and it was just like black goo, I was like, okay, this is it. This is what we've all been waiting for.
All right, so we're gonna start this episode off by talking about the main event, the PS5. Finally. So, and from my first impressions, just from looking at it in the trailer, I like it. I like it a lot. I like the white. I like the blue. I like the black. I like its hourglass looking design, especially for the digital edition, which is the one I'm most interested on getting. Which I'm very shocked to hear you to say. Like, honestly, you told me that before we started recording, and I'm in shock to hear you say that. Complete shock. Well, believe it. Unless it's like not that much of a price difference or whatever, But
what happened to your physical games collection library?
Yeah.
What about all that? You've been fighting with me about that for like 4 or 5 years now. The second PlayStation
I still believe physical games have a place, but
not
from
for
what
you
you
anymore.
But from what you said, I did think about it. It does make sense for going digital as well.
You hear that, boys and girls? Super Kami got a point on the checkboard. Another one. Bring it back.
The only one.
Okay, please.
But anyway.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear you. The digital edition did look nice. It did look a lot slimmer. It was cool because the regular version of it it started off like hourglass and had a fat butt because it had
that was. I'm trying to pull up a picture, but it's like, why? I don't know. I didn't expect it. From what we saw before when it came to the dev tech looks of it looking like a giant VR headset, that big dip in the middle, it's very surprising to me how far they went away from that design. Like, it looks nothing like that. I thought they were going to keep some element of that, and they did it.
I'm really interested to see that it's primarily supposed to be standing. I did see a shot of it sitting down, but since it's like a curve, it's not a flat surface on either side. Mm-hmm. I was like, how are you going to supposed to sit this down? So the photo that I saw in the video trailer, they had it like sitting on that plate that it uses to stand, but it's still like, to me, it's like, how stable is that plate? Unless it's magnetized, wouldn't it still rock or whatever? Because it's not a flat surface. Like, just for the fact that it's sitting on a plate, it's not going to be on a level surface.
No, it will. Sony does a really good job with their stands for the consoles. Like, you're not gonna
again, but all those consoles. I mean, I don't know. The PS3 wasn't flat; it had the big curve. But since it had a big surface to stand on, it had one flat side. It had a flat side. The other side was curved.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a flat side. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it is. It does have a flat side.
The PS3, not this.
The 5, it does have a flat side.
Not your photo I'm looking at.
Let me look.
I mean, I guess the bottom. Look at
bottom is flat. Yeah, that's flat.
But what about this top half? That means it'll rock.
You
could tap
excuse
it.
me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I meant for the part where it can actually stand up. But yeah, it looks like it doesn't have feet for the side.
Yeah, it doesn't have feet. So I'm just worried that it'll rock or whatever if people want to have it flat. So that was my biggest takeaway from it. But it is very striking. The white is a striking color. I'm again shocked to hear you say even a white console, because when you got a white PS4 Pro, you took it back the same day. You're like, no, it's not my. I don't mind a white console, but just hearing you say that. Yeah, just hearing you say that, I was shocked hearing you say you wanted.
So when I got the PS4 Pro, there was a lot more white accents on it than there were black. With the PS5, it has that nice big black center, and it just curves out, and it gets complemented with the blue highlights through the vents. As far as what these renders show, like, I could change my mind when I see it, but as far as right now, like, it's a really, really nice design. And hopefully maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe they won't do it. Like actually also have a black version. I
They'll
think
definitely have a black, just not at launch. Like,
no, not
a
a lot.
black will come out a year from now.
They're committing to this.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
So what are your thoughts on this, really?
I think it's a nice design as well. I think it's, again, very striking. It's different. I like the Series X, like a little tower, but this is like, I don't know, it's kind of like something you would feel like on a spaceship, kind of.
This is the kind of designs that people expected from consoles, like back in the day. We're like
exactly, like yeah, like
that's what we were talking about before. We were expecting some crazy design for the Xbox Series X, but it just came up like a tower, and we were like, well, it's it's more mature, I guess. And then PS5 comes out looking like, nah, we're going with the fantasy here.
Yeah, it looks like what we expected back in the days of the late 360s. When we were talking about next gen, like we're in the future now. Like we got 1080p. What crazy designs can we get out of that? So PS5 it's definitely different. The white is a lot. I want to ask, when you get it, whenever that is, do you think you're gonna have it standing or sitting?
Standing.
Standing?
Yeah, I have the space to put it. Like, it'll go right next to my television on my desk. I have the space for it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think I would have it standing as well. I think it's just better looking that way. The sitting kind of worries me quite a bit.
The PS5 standing?
Yes, PS5 standing.
Does that mean you're getting a PS5?
I mean, I have to get a Series X and I got money. Like, I'm not rich like some people. Right?
Okay.
I gotta support my black superheroes. Miles Morales, come on, don't do that.
Oh, is that what's making you get it, Miles Morales?
Miles Morales, one of the best Spider-Man, right? F. Peter. Peter's not a great Spider-Man. Okay, that's not true. Peter's a good Spider-Man. He's just my favorite Spider-Man. Doc Ock Spider-Man was so much better, and so is Miles. But okay, but they didn't only announce PS5 today. They also announced a couple of accessories, like brand new headsets.
Oh yeah.
Camera. And something we were talking about in our last episode, they have a media remote. Remember I was telling you about, like, people use their consoles as a all-in-one entertainment system. They watch movies, they watch TV, they play games, like they do everything. So for them to have the media remote, and consoles, the Xbox and I'm assuming the PlayStation have had a media remote before. For them to have the media remote in official first trailer with the PS5, that means like, hey guys, we know you use your console for more than just gaming. So we want you to have access to that on day one. So I'm assuming on day one we should be able to buy that media controller if they're showing it off with the PS5. So I'm really happy to see that Sony's like, oh yeah, we know that the console's more than just gaming for a lot of people. Because I know people that use their consoles for Netflix primarily because they don't have a smart TV or Roku or something. So I was cool to see that, and that's a lot what we were talking about. So I was really happy to see a controller, which I would never get, but it was cool to see them have it.
There's a little bit of some hints of how the UI would look like. Like there was like this big long section where it said click your PlayStation button to continue, and it like evaporated in these nice little particle effects. So I hope we'll actually see the UI and the interface really soon.
Yeah, hopefully. One piece of hardware we didn't see, which I would have liked to have seen, would have been PSVR. So are they doing PSVR 2? They didn't talk about VR whatsoever in this event, because I feel like VR was a big selling point they had for the PS4. Because like, hey, it's the only console that could do it. I mean, that was a big selling point, but like, they could do it. The PS4 could run VR. So I'm just shocked they didn't announce like a PSVR 2 alongside the PS5 or even support for the PSVR currently.
They tried a lot when it came to VR on the PS4. Like they kept pushing for it, but there wasn't that much of an acceptance in the community. Like,
I mean, it sold quite a bit of units though.
It did, but at the same time, not a lot of games came out supporting it. Like more important titles, like the VR games were really small. I mean, they could have expanded on it for this. Like maybe they will announce it later, but it really wasn't that strong. VR in general is not that strong. I feel like that will change between now and the end of next year. We could see a little bit of a resurgence, but I can see why they're like not showing that right now, because it really didn't do that good.
If there was ever a time to go ahead and put on a shot into VR would be now when they want to go ahead and release the PS5. It's like, hey, get a PS5 and VR2. Here's a couple new games like Half-Life Alex. You can get on the PSVR 2.
Half-Life Alex is not coming to console.
Yeah, it is. They said it's going to all VR capabilities. It's going to all VR. I mean, it should be on PSVR. They said it was going to all console. All VR platforms.
Did they?
Yeah, Half-Life Alex. They said it was going to all because Valve doesn't have their own VR hardware as of yet. So they announced the game is going to all VR. So
they probably just meant all the Oculus and stuff.
I mean, there's only 3? There's Oculus, there's Vive.
Yeah.
I think it's one more VR company, but I don't see why it wouldn't go to PlayStation. Like, they're using the same controls, it's the same everything.
Oh, they said they haven't ruled it out.
But yeah, I mean, again, that could have been a cool selling point. PSVR 2 with Half-Life Alex. So that would have been cool.
Maybe later.
I will say it was a cool little reveal event showing the PlayStation. I didn't like the Orbeez in the start and the black goo. They did spend a lot of time on those little effects. I will say it also was a much more mature event compared to Xbox's reveal. Mature in what sense? Which part was mature?
Mature in sense of like how, like the professionalism of how they went, talking about everything through the event. Like they would have a little segment of the devs talking, and then they went straight into the games.
They're talking about the whole event.
The whole event
as a whole.
The whole event. Yeah, it gave a more professional vibe to me. Like it seemed more.
I just took it as, I wouldn't say mature. It was just like how Apple thinks they're all hot shit for having like. Remember when they used to have that one guy, the one British guy talking in a white background? That's what they did. They're just like, we're Sony, so we do things like this. Oh yeah, we're talking very slow, and welcome to the future.
But it wasn't slow, but it was a lot quick. They did cut to the chase a lot more.
But I mean, like, if you really want to talk about maturity, I feel like that's a good segue to get into the games. Whereas half the games they announced for the PS5 were like for 8-year-olds, and they're like, "Hey guys, come spend $700 on your PS5 so you can play Strawberry Palooza with your 7-year-old."
That Bug Island, whatever that game is called, that I almost turned it off. I was like, because I was watching with my friends, and we're literally like screaming, like, "Why is it still going? Why is it taking so long?"
It was a long one too. Like
nobody
there were
asked.
So many like child friendly, which is fine, but like there were a bit more than I would have expected. Like I just want to use this one phrase. I saw it on Twitter. This is not me, but after the Spider-Man game, all the other games were like Apple Arcade games ported to console. I was like, what? They really were. I mean, there were a couple big ones like Horizon, which looked great. Which I want to touch back on a bit, and Demon Souls, which people have been asking for a remake for a while, and of course Spider-Man. But all the rest of them, there was Ratchet and Clank, but all the rest seemed like they were indie games. Yes, they were indie, but I wouldn't say they looked bad. There were a couple that looked quite good.
They were very cinematic.
Yeah, I did like quite a bit. Kenna, the Bridge of Spirits. I want to see more from that. I don't know for the platformer, for the puzzler. I want to say see of that. And Solar Ash, I can see that Solar Ash winning like all the awards for like the indie developers. So Solar Ash and Kenna was pretty cool. But overall, I was on Twitter while this event was going on, and I was on Twitch watching the chat. The chat was sleeping almost, and I have a video of it, like sleeping almost throughout the entire event. The only time people really perked up was again during Demon Souls, Spider-Man, Hitman, and Horizon. Hitman could have got a little bit of people talking, but everything else, like aside from those 4 games, people are like, I personally like Solar Ash and Kenna, but everybody else was just like sleeping through the entire event of just like all these indie games. I guess they expected more. So I don't
Chat always wants to see a lot more newer, more hard-hitting titles than these smaller or indie type games.
You don't just say chat. You say the same. Like you literally say the same about Stadia. like beat for beat.
Okay, Stadia's a whole different thing. That's all they had. That is all they had. But as far as what I'm saying is that does seem to be a recurring theme for Stadia, Xbox, Sony. That's usually just how it is, which I'm not going against. I also agree too. I don't understand why they just don't have the smaller stuff announced first and the bigger stuff after, so that the rest of it can be on a higher note than.
No, they have to definitely like sprinkle it in. They have to sprinkle the big stuff with the small stuff, because otherwise people would be like, oh, just wait till like the last 10 minutes or only watch the first 10 minutes. Like, they have to sprinkle it in. Because like I was very shocked to see Horizon after the event was over. They're like, oh wait, we have Horizon. I was like, what?
Yeah, it went longer.
And then it's like they started with Spider-Man. So everyone's like, yo, Spider-Man, this is a big game. Oh my god. So what's next? And then it was just like arcade games for like the next 45 minutes. I mean, there was Demon Souls. Not my type of game, but it was cool.
One thing I will call Sony out on, I mean, the day is not over just yet during the time of this recording, but remember, like, they were talking about how, oh, we're not going to do what Xbox did, we're going to show gameplay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was telling you about. I think literally exactly what I was talking about. They showed gameplay for like Ratchet and Clank for like 2 minutes and they moved on. So they never did the deep dive like people want, like the 10, 15 minutes. It was like they showed a couple minutes of Gran Turismo, the racing game. They showed like 2 minutes off of that. Then they showed 2 minutes of Ratchet and Clank. They showed like 30 seconds of Kenna. And I was like, it was just mainly just trailers, which is exactly what I was expecting. It's exactly what we got. So I want to see all the riots now. I want people complaining, oh, we're on the game, where's the actual gameplay? And the majority of the stuff said pre-alpha footage. Even like Spider-Man said that, pre-alpha footage of a cinematic trailer. Pre-alpha footage. Almost everything said that. So I want to see them come out.
They're not going to do that. There's not going to be a riot or a backlash over the gameplay, because since they are like this, since they had that narrative, I guess, and they also showed the PS5, people's attention is going to be a little bit diverted. I mean, the day's not over. We could see more gameplay later. Sure,
definitely. From the end of the game, that we'll see anything more from Horizon or Resident Evil.
Yeah, well, maybe. Oh no, not Resident Evil. That looks unfinished. Why don't we talk about some games that we are interested in the PS5?
Okay, yeah. Definitely for me, the ones that I was really interested in was the ones I kind of listed off before. In no particular order. I guess Spider-Man would be the first one, actually. It would be Spider-Man, then Horizon. And then after that was Kenna, the Bridge of Spirits. I was getting like a big like Avatar kind of vibes from her. She was like a girl in the forest, in the woods. She had these little spirit creatures. She had the staff that could become a bow. So, but we saw like literally like 30 seconds of gameplay. The only gameplay we saw was her like controlling the little black spirits. And then like they started jumping up and down or whatever. So I couldn't tell if it was a puzzle game or if it was a platformer. Oh, another game that I was not shocked to see, but shocked of what it was Godfall. Remember, Godfall was the very first PS5 game to be announced back at the Video Game Awards. And I thought it was going to be something else, but when we actually ended up seeing it, it was just a hack and slash game. I was like, oh, it's just a hack and slash? I don't know. I thought it was going to be... That's not a AAA game.
Another game that fits under that change is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh yes, I remember that one. I would have liked that if that was third person, but continue. Sorry.
What's it called? Ever since that, I forget. I don't know the exact term, but the game design director for like how the game is supposed to look during its life, during the path of development. Since she left, which was like a little bit after the game was announced, like I can still see hints of what it was compared to the reveal that she was a part of to how it is now. That trailer looked not finished, and it seems like they're trying to stay with her vision, but also it's like it definitely changed, and I don't think it's for the better. At least from what they showed there, it looked unfinished in a lot of aspects, and I don't know. That's stuff like that is a little sad to see.
Sorry, like, that was another game. That was another game that said pre-alpha footage. So there's still
they still have time.
I think I said it was 2021 release. So there's still time for it to.
But as far as that path that they're on, it makes me worried. Let's see. So the games that I am interested in are just like you: Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Project Athia, Returnal, Destruction All Stars, Kenna as well, Bridge of Spirits, Ghostwire Tokyo, but there's like a little asterisk on it because I'm held off. Godfall only because I want to see more of Godfall.
I'm in shock. I'm in shock of what you're saying. Between Ratchet and Clank and Destruction All Stars,
what?
We're gonna finish, please. We're good down.
Okay, Godfall. I want to see a little bit more of Godfall. Little Devil Inside, Deathloop, Pragmata, Horizon Forbidden West. That's it. Yeah. Well, the main one from this list is Little Devil Inside is what I'm most excited for. It was that weird one that was like it was showing a trailer of these two guys. One guy was traveling, one guy was like in his house, and he it was very Pixar. That one. It was like when they started showing the combat for it, I was like, ooh, wait a minute, this looks interesting. Whatever this is going on. But yeah.
A couple days ago, before this event came out, we were talking off screen or whatever. We were talking about what would be the game that Sony needs to sell for it to sell the PS5, right? Because even though Xbox is gonna have their exclusive games both be on the Series X and the One, Halo is still a really big game, and people still really want to play the best version of the game with the best new thing. People like buying the new stuff. So Halo was going to sell consoles for sure. So I was saying, what would Sony want to use to combat Halo in a sense? Like, what would be their big game that they could sell? I have brought up Ratchet and Clank and Horizon to you, and you were like, oh, there's no way they could do Horizon. And you came to the conclusion, no, they could do Ratchet and Clank. But this was also with the whole Sly Cooper conversation, but you were saying you were over like those older characters and they need to move on, and you said like Ratchet and Clank wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm here excited to hear you say, oh yeah, I'm really interested in Ratchet and Clank, when a couple of days ago when I brought it up to you, like, oh, it was there, like it came out, like they can move on.
Yeah,
like realistic, not just interested in which games you actually want to go.
Realistically,
and don't say you can't make that judgment because you were very
Spider-Man
the first day you saw it, and Outriders.
Okay, but I don't get the same feeling.
None of
from
those games were like, yeah, I need to get a PS5 for those.
Because for me, no, as of right now, for what they showed in their current state, like a lot of them were like alpha and stuff like that. I'm not really getting that urge to like, I have to get it. I must have this.
So none of those games,
I need to play this. Like, no, I don't. I'm not.
Gave you the urge to want to get a PS5. They were just like,
no, because it also goes into what I said before. Like, we're not gonna see the real heavy hitting games that take advantage of the PS5's power till much later in this life cycle. So this launch lineup, like, they're good, but at the same time, if I really wanted to, I'll just be like, I can wait. I don't need to get the PS5. Like, I can wait. I will get the PS5, depending on how it does, like the bugs and yada yada. But I'm perfectly fine with just moving over games that I already have just to play on the PS5, so that I could be ready for those titles coming out later. These ones, like I said, they're good. They're just not they're not right. Pulling my heartstrings, really.
But yeah, I was really shocked to see that they actually brought a Horizon, like I had said a couple of days ago. I thought Horizon would be the game that they could really push the PS5 with. They didn't give a release date or a release year for Horizon. It didn't say 2020 or 2021. They just dropped the trailer. For Spider-Man, they said holiday 2020, so we can hope that that's a day one title for the PS5. But the PS5 is also holiday 2020. So I would like to see that is a title that come out day one. So I think Spider-Man Miles Morales would actually be a good competitor to an extent for Halo 5, but like, what's the big game pushing the PS5 on day one? So if it's Spider-Man, good for them. I don't think they'd be ready for a Spider-Man game just yet. They did it. Horizon and Ratchet and Clank, I definitely called that. Those two, and they did. I was like, wow, good for them. Good for them.
You did.
But yeah, I mean, again, for me, I was also watching the event with a friend, and I was like, so, we were watching some of the trailers, like, and the gameplay. I'm like, so does this look like it's being played on a PS5 to you? And he was just like, I don't know. I don't know.
My friend said the same thing. They're like, a lot of, but that also goes into what I was saying before. Like, the jump between the PS4 and the 5 is not going to be that big as far as the beginning window is.
With that said, is there's like, what is the future of gaming? Like, what are we trying to get to for at least this generation? We're not talking about 20 years from now. At least for this generation, what are we trying to get to for gaming? Like, what can we do aside from like 4K 60? Like, what more is there?
Okay, realistically, it seems that their focus is more on graphics, resolution and frames and speed. Mm-hmm. So how fast games can load, trying to keep things smooth and clean, and 4K, blah blah blah. That's what their target seems to be. So games, we are not going to really see much change in games, really, for quite a while. It seems like we're at that apex point, and I think I said this before, where the next step, if you really want to take it a step further, would be to change it into a different medium, aka VR. But that doesn't seem to be a focus right now. So, like, I don't know, like, like, depending on like stuff like maybe like Xbox's Senua's Wrath, Hellblade, like that looked really good, looked really real and stuff like that. But at the same time, they could probably accomplish the same type of graphical fidelity on the Xbox One. So the only thing that the next gen is going to bring is something that PC's always had, which is better frame rates, ray tracing, 4K. That's it. Like there's not much more that they can do right now, and that's not a bad thing. Like we've come into a point where we would expect this type of quality of gaming. We've made it to like where you could do heavy cinematic stories that look very lifelike and to grab emotion, and big multiplayers on massive universes. Well, not that massive, but big enough for right now. Maybe we'll see massive later. So the stretch for what's next, I guess we're there.
Mm-hmm. I guess we are there.
Okay, guys, that was this episode of Get Your Game Sense Up. We talked a lot about what happened today with Sony's event, the PS5, the biggest reveal, and their games. Let us know down in the comments what you guys think of its design, what games are your favorites, and the event as a whole. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And don't be afraid to give us feedback. Let them know where they can hear us.
Guys, we are available everywhere podcasts are available. That is iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play. We're everywhere. Spotify, everywhere. Give us.
And guys, always remember,
get your game sense up.